morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, is a double dose of feminine energy, Miss Patrice Fruitfit Jones and Aisha Green. Welcome, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Aisha says she's not camera ready today, so we won't be seeing her.
Not at all.
But that's all right, though. I appreciate y'all being here, spreading your Black girl magic all over the place. And we have an awesome show for you today because today's guest is a hilarious comedian, one of our favorite guests here, and a good friend. And I say that because anytime I call this dude and say come through, he's always there. He always shows up. I appreciate it. He also just happens to be the patriarch of one of the coolest Black families in America. And I'm not just saying that because his family's dope. Ebony Magazine actually did a poll a couple of years ago, did a story, and they were number 72 on the list of the coolest Black families in America. And I think that's pretty dope. So I just like to shout it out every time I see him. Ladies and gentlemen, the hilarious Ralph Cooper. I like to put a lot of pressure on you too, to say stuff like he's really funny and the hilarious. So now everybody's looking at you like, make us laugh, funny man. No, but, Ralph Cooper is with us, man. Welcome. Thank you for coming through.
A nice intro, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. But
definitely.
Now, like you gave me the pause and everything. That wasn't cool. It was like, oh, now, be a good time. Word. Yeah,
right. Just say something funny. No, but yeah, man, I'm excited to talk to you. It's been a lot going on, and I always say, I like to have comedians on in time where there's a lot of turmoil and things, just because they always have interesting perspectives and a lot of insight, and also laughter is and has always been the best medicine. So it's always good to see you, brother, and have you in the building. We got a lot to talk about, and we're gonna get into it. I want to send a shout out to Boss Lady. She's watching. How you doing? And yeah, so let's get into these topics. There's a couple of things going on. I want to start with talking about since the passing of Chadwick Boseman, Disney and Marvel have been kind of in catch-up mode, trying to figure out what they were going to do. And last week, Marvel CEO Kevin Feige made an announcement about the path that they're taking with Black Panther. I thought it was a cool statement. He was saying that just because of how iconic, the role was and the character that Chadwick brought to life was, they're never going to recast that role of T'Challa. But because of how impactful the movie as a whole was, they felt the responsibility to keep the story going. So they are going to move forward with it. They have Ryan Coogler, the guy who wrote and directed the first one, working right now to try to bring another installment of the movie to life. So that'll be really cool to see. I'm glad that they, decided to keep it going, but also decided to honor Chadwick by not recasting the role of T'Challa, because that'd be weird, right? To see somebody else, trying to take over or play him, play that role after he kind of defined it. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty, dope announcement that was made. Black Panther 2, man, what you think, Ralph?
Well, shout out the homie Chadwick, man. That was a powerful brother. I think that it's amazing that they're going to allow his legacy to be Black Panther, which is dope. And it makes it a lot easier to explain to my kids how he played different characters, but this is his one. Because for us, he was like, it's the truth. He was like Black Tofu for real, man. He was Frederick. I mean, he played every Black person you could possibly play, like all of them. And then he left us with the Ma Rainey's Black Bottom performance, which was just, again, amazing. Like anything the kids stepped into was just dope. So I'm really happy that they're allowing his legacy to be sold as the Panther. And I hope that, as a comic book head, I hope they push it forward because, it just pushes the narrative of Black girl magic even further. Because in the comic books, his sister takes over, which just makes it crazier. So, I would like to see, Letitia on screen rocking the Panther suit, talking hella crazy to people, smacking folks up. I'm all about that life. I would support that. I enjoy this new plethora of characters that are coming about that are sisters kicking a lot of ass. It makes it easier to me to encourage my daughter to kick ass because she can see sisters on screen doing that, and I support that. I've always been that way. So I like the decision. I hope it moves everything forward from the culture and everything about that. It'd be dope. It'd be dope.
Definitely. Patrice, did you see Black Panther? You saw it, right?
I did. I saw it a couple of times. Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're coming out with another one, and they announced that they're not going to recast the role. How do you feel about that?
I think I didn't expect them to,
Right.
because his role was iconic and so powerful. I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. But it's kind of like, I don't want to compare it to Bad Boys because I can't, but it's kind of like once I see one movie, like the second, third, and fourth, I don't get as excited about. I think the movie as is with him casted in that role is historic and iconic enough. But I will see the second one. I will see the next one.
Yeah, that's a good point though. I wonder, I'm like Ralph, I'm kind of a comic book head, so it's interesting to see, because they have so much a wealth of stories to pull from to be able to do a good job. But there is the curse of the sequel, like a lot of movies don't make it past that initial movie. And so even though, comic book movies have been able to kind of, get past that, like I said, just because of the wealth of stories that they have, but sometimes they don't. And it's tough to bring back that same magic and that same feel. Aisha, did you hear the announcement? And how do you feel about them making another Black Panther and not recasting the role? Ish, you there?
I don't think she's there.
All right. Well, we'll edit all of this out of the version that goes on YouTube. Okay. So. Yeah. So, just staying on the same road a little bit.
But you did lay it up hella poignant though. It was real. It was a great layup. I'll give you that. It was beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Was I on mute? Am I on mute?
Yeah, you were on mute. Okay, there you are.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, because I got mute in the car. I'm in the car. And I got mute on the phone.
So all of y'all in y'all offices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. But no, what I was saying is that that's appropriate that they wouldn't recast, given the fact that Chadwick, is passing. But yeah, they should definitely continue the franchise. It's so instrumental for the culture as far as for Black people to see ourselves as superheroes and it being done well. So yeah, I'm all for that. And Ryan Coogler, he's an amazing director. So I'm sure whatever he's putting together will be phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. What else has he done besides Black Panther?
He also did Fruitvale Station, I believe. I think.
Oh,
No. He does Creed. He's a part of the Creed series.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't see Fruitvale. Was Fruitvale Station good? I didn't see it.
I thought it was really well done. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say, Ralph?
He did Creed too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So I didn't see Fruitvale Station because I didn't want to seeing what it was about. It was already in a time where it was a lot of racial turmoil going on, and I didn't need that anger toward the white race.
I'm just saying, when do we ever live in a time when there isn't a lot of racial turmoil?
That's true. It's a good point.
Really, so.
It's not like there's been a moment in the past, I don't know, I'm 45, so 45 years where I've just been like, oh, things are racially like right now. This is great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It ebbs and flows and switches and changes as far as, who specifically is getting the brunt, but it doesn't go away. No.
Right.
There's some constants though. I'm just saying. There's certain constants. We shouldn't be. You know what? I will say this about Coogler, man. He's the only director that I can think of right now where I can name at least 2 of his movies off the grip that somehow or another brought me to serious man tears. You know what I'm saying? That's That dude, I feel like, you know, there's a certain part of you that's just not a man worthy kind of a dude if you didn't cry when Creed was cracking. Like Creed and Fruitvale Station, don't watch Fruitvale Station if you're trying to keep up some kind of manly facade around somebody. Because you're going to break down and like cry. You're going to have a whole angry black wild out at the end just so somebody like, well, second brother died. Like, it just, he has an effect on you. Like with his movies, man, he's a monster. And I do think that's a mark of a very good director or a producer, where it's a movie and you go into it kind of knowing what's going to happen and they still can just pull at you. Coogler's good for that, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of phenomenal movies, did we all see One Night in Miami?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to check it out today. You know, this is my day off, so I'm going to check it out today.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Just remember that it's a fictional account. And I'm more than willing to come back and talk about that later. But just remember that that's important, Dave.
Okay.
Account.
Yeah, because I've heard stuff about that night, and so I was wanting to see how well they, you know, depicted the events of that evening, and just like, you know, some of the conversations that were supposed to have happened and things of that nature.
It's a play.
It's a play? Oh, okay.
It was a play. But that's all I'm saying. I don't even want to do all that because you ain't seen it and that ain't fair. And then me and Aisha start talking about it for you.
Right. Yeah, I just want to say it was a really well done film. Kudos to Regina King.
I will. Malcolm X acted his ass off. That dude is a monster.
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's tough. You know, seeing anybody else other than Denzel play Malcolm is like, But it's a couple of people who have done it okay. You know, when what's his name, Van Peebles did it in something.
Yeah,
Ali.
God, I'm with you on that. There's only one Malcolm X I recognize, that is Denzel Washington.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Everybody else is just trying it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? But as far as I'm concerned, there's only one Malcolm, and that Malcolm is Denzel.
Right. Not even the real Malcolm. Denzel.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know how many counter-revolutionary brothers we both know got a tattoo of doggone Lauryn Hill on their shoulder, and then got Malcolm X as Denzel on their forearm.
Right. That could be an older trading day. We don't know, but
look, it ain't even a light skin, dark skin thing. It's just a Malcolm thing. These guys got Denzel all on their forearm.
Right.
That's Denzel, bro.
Yeah. He's a great actor. He's got something coming out on HBO Max, as a matter of fact, that I'm gonna check out.
All the little things.
Yeah.
Little things or something like that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks like it should be good. So since we were talking about, you know, the comic book realm and stuff, I caught the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. I know, I saw you. I know we comic book dudes, so I just wanted to get your opinion real quick.
Man, I'm in the state where, you know, certain things are legal now, just like it is in DC. And my real first thought on WandaVision is like, they did not legalize weed for shit like this. This is as hell. I don't understand what's going on.
Right.
Back in black and white. Why is the only thing in color red? What is wrong with I don't get it. I'm trying to. I wanted to get it. I don't know what the hell is going on. I watched it sober. I watched it stoned. Both times, still fucking confused. I'm not. There's a middle ground that I could watch that shit on and come away with like, this is amazing. I have no idea.
Well, they setting up the story though.
I understand Lovecraft Country to a T. I can explain everything. So, yeah, I don't want to hear it. Like that WandaVision, they're gonna need some more episodes to make it work.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They're building the story and they're gonna bring it back around. So I saw what they was trying to do. I saw exactly what you saw though. How I feel like they probably lost a lot of people with those first 2 episodes, just because of how
every white sitcom as a WandaVision show until they get the color. Are they gonna do a Sanford and Son episode?
I don't know.
Is that what I'm missing? Like, I don't know. Is it gonna be a good time WandaVision?
The closest they get is the Brady Bunch.
Is that happening? Is that what's going down?
Yeah.
Like 227.
Right. They messing with the black shows. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that happened in the sports world this past week. As a matter of fact, let me wow. So, the basketball world was sent shockwaves this past week when they announced the trade from the Houston Rockets, James Harden. They traded him to the Nets. And here to talk a little bit about the trade is our very own NBA correspondent, Joel Laguerre. How you doing?
I hate that intro, Dave. I
You
do not
hate the
like that.
intro? You're not an NBA correspondent?
If you say so.
Came on to specifically talk about NBA, and you're not okay. Well, anyway, tell them about the trade now. You didn't upset me. No, I'm just kidding.
With you, I don't like that pressure. Yeah. So I just caught when you were talking about James Harden, right?
Yeah.
What you said. Sorry, I got on a little late. So what did you say? What's the question? Is there a question that I can
No,
answer?
I was just saying, tell him about the trade. So basically, he wanted to leave the Rockets, and they made it happen. Now he's on the Nets with Kevin Durant, where he wanted to be. What does this mean for the Rockets, for the Nets, and for the NBA as a whole? What's your opinion?
Gotcha. Well, I'll start with the NBA as a whole. A lot of people complain about the super team, the superest of super teams at this point. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this. I think people could argue that the Warriors, when KD went to join Steph and Clay, was a super team, of course. But this is a little different. This is a little different, to have KD and James Harden both MVPs, which is similar to with Steph and KD, but also with Kyrie, who is, he's a superstar in his own right. Of course, he's won a championship. When he returns, we'll be able to see what it looks like with the three of them together. But I think it means a lot for the NBA. First of all, the balance of power has kind of switched to the East, where the West has always been talked about, at least for the past, I guess, about 10 years, being the powerhouse, especially with LeBron going to the Lakers 3 years ago. So this is changing things. This is shaking things up quite a bit. The Brooklyn Nets are definitely at this point title contenders. Even before James Harden going, I would say that they were title contenders with just KD and Kyrie. So this is something. Their first game was just a couple of days ago. Oh, I see a question, Ralph.
You have a hand up?
I'll get to you in a second. But the first game, James Harden had a triple double and he had 40-something points. I think it was 46 points. So this is scary. This is very scary. And Kyrie wasn't even playing. Now they were playing the Knicks, who some people would argue is not a great team, but they are looking really good this year. They are looking good this year, Ralph. They're looking better than usual.
Stop that. Everything else I agree with. There's a Knicks. There's a Knicks. There's a Knicks. They're the Knicks.
That's your answer? That they're the Knicks?
I mean, the uniforms are dope. I saw that chip thing that they had. That was fire. You know what I'm saying? But they're the Knicks. They're the Knicks. Unless Young is going to get redressed, they're the Knicks. My question was, do you think that as a result of James Harden going to the Nets, that there will be more beards in the tri-state area?
Great question. I cannot speak to that. As Dave mentioned, I'm an NBA correspondent, less so a fashion and beauty correspondent. I'm not familiar with the trends in that area.
She faced brothers walking around, you know what I'm saying, doing their Harden thing. I'm on brothers in DC start dressing hella crazy because we got Westbrook.
Right.
And Westbrook ain't really representing DC. He showed up before a game with a Sobiato sweatsuit on. You know what I'm saying? He don't show with some Sobiato, some hobo. He ain't really representing Mo. I don't like that. I don't like it.
He put the Mo on there too.
Russ is a very, very different character.
Yeah, he was LA, man. He was LA. He ain't really, he ain't really ready for what the East Coast truly brings. But we'll see. I expect him to take the Wizards one step closer to the mediocrity that we always expect.
One step higher than the mediocrity?
Like right to the line of the mediocrity.
Right to the line.
To the line.
Well, The Wizards are currently in this begins the 5th year of the NBA season, and the Wizards are currently the second to last team in the NBA according to their record.
Consistency is key. If you're gonna suck hard.
But I
minute.
believe when I came on last time, I was very excited and optimistic about Russell Westbrook joining the Wizards, and I still am. I think there's still some growing to be done. Bradley Beal is balling as we expected he would be, especially with Russ at the point. I think that's a good combo. There's a lot to be worked out. They've got some COVID issues right now. Their last 2 or 3 games have been postponed. They had a game today that was postponed due to COVID. So that could be impacting their record as well because they haven't been able to play as many games as other teams. So we'll give them a chance to show us a little something. Ralph, you don't think they can make the playoffs?
I think Russell Westbrook is gonna have like 40 games where he has a triple double, and we'll still lose. But I mean, I think that like I'm like Dave. I'm outside of it. Still wear the gear. I let people know. Yeah, I support. I like pain. We got Jets fans up here. I have a teenage daughter, and in order for me to bond with my daughter in a proper way, I no longer watch basketball for like stats. I'm strictly watching for their and really, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I just think look at their suit contracts are and what they're rocking on court. You know what I'm saying? Because that's way more important according to my daughter than the true game itself. So. I'm really bonding on uniforms this year. That's where I'm at.
Watching the uniforms.
I think there's a high chance because they got Outcast uniforms with a whole bunch of tail. I think they got a great squad fashion-wise. They look great. They look awesome.
Who did you say, Ralph, was that?
Atlanta. They got a great.
The Hawks. Yeah, they have a great squad this year too. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they might make the playoffs before the Wizards.
His name, but she has pictures of him everywhere. She thinks he's great. So
okay.
He's a good basketball player. That's when my son gets older, I'll get back into the stats and really watch him. But right now, I'm learning to watch the game, not necessarily for the stuff that I watched it for my entire life. Now there's way more. Some teams just aren't apparently attractive to watch. I always just how they pass, and I thought that I like the Lakers, but apparently they're not a very attractive team. So I had to start watching them. I had to start. We are watching. Who's she like? Oh man, she likes KD, so she's with the Nets a little bit. She'll rock with that.
She does like the Nets. Okay.
We'll rock with that. So we'll watch him. He also has a new shoe game. The boy from Minnesota, the Greek black dude, Giannis.
No, that's Milwaukee. Giannis.
Him. Shoe game, the Coming to America shoes last year. Should have won him the title.
Should have won him the title.
The shoes are great.
Well, he got MVP, second year in a row.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's so much going on. They have 9 games today?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot going on today. So if you come back next week, you'll have a lot to talk about if you can make it back through. And thank you so much for giving us the skinny on the NBA. Our very own NBA correspondent. Give you that title. I don't care if you don't like it. Thank you so much, Joe. If you want to hang out, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But if you got to go, I know you're a busy woman.
I do have to run, but great seeing all of you. Patrice, Aisha, are you there?
I'm right here.
Okay. Great seeing you, ladies. All right. Bye, Ralph. Nice meeting you.
Cool. So, yeah, man. Wanted to, talk a little sports. Give her a chance to shine a little bit. Also, I don't know if any of you saw any of the playoff games for the football, but the Rams, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Saints are done. That leaves Green Bay, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Tom Brady team. That's what they call it now. They used to be called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now they're the Bradys. What'd you say, Ralph?
The Brady show, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm personally pulling for Buffalo, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Buffalo. I like again, great music coming out of Buffalo, and I'm a huge fan of Griselda Records. And I basically feel like due to Conway the Machine and West Side Gun, and Benny the Butcher shining, football is also shining. So yeah, I'm gonna support the Bills. Yeah, and Conway the Machine is the greatest rapper on earth right now. So I'm rocking Buffalo. I haven't seen them play a single game all season.
But you just rocking with them because of the music is dope.
I feel that. I don't even need to see them play. I'm good.
Right. So, so look, man. Before the show started, Ralph and I were kind of getting into the conversation about, a lot of the stuff that's been going on around the Capitol and around the inauguration and things of that nature. And I do want to touch on that a little bit. Everything is locked down right now in preparation for Wednesday for the inauguration. Of course, Joe Biden will be inaugurated, 46th president of the United States on Wednesday. And like I said last week, white people lost their damn mind. They flipping out and, ran up in the Capitol, as you all know, and things of that nature. Rob, what was your reaction originally when you saw what was happening? Uh-oh, you froze up. You there?
I'm there now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I didn't hear what you said before it froze. I apologize.
Oh, okay, no problem. I was saying, what was your initial reaction when you saw what was going on Wednesday? Like when you peeped the news or however you found out about it?
My first real thing as a former media guy was I was afraid for every black cameraman and tech that I knew, black cameraman and black woman, because what I know is in those situations, they send us in. Like, they send us into those situations. Like, all right, hey, go grab your camera, go down there, get us some shots. For real? Like that was my first thought. I've got some very good friends that are still in the media. If you don't follow him, Brackton Booker, B. Booker, is one of the only black reporters from NPR who's been covering politics. People don't even know. He's a Howard grad, sharp guy. He's been all over a lot of the stuff that's been happening. And he's a safe brother that you can trust who's not going to give you some bullshit. Brackton Booker, B. Booker on Twitter. And but like, I know that he had to go up on the Hill. I thought he had to go up on the Hill and cover that stuff. And when I checked on him, fortunately, it was one of the days that he didn't go in. And because traditionally, you don't send reporters in for that happening on the Hill. That's not something you send people in for. In fact, over the past couple of administrations, we've ignored that even happened. It was just a formality.
Right.
And shout out to Brian and Joe Claire. I've seen both of them recently. They were up in Jersey and they did comedy. We had our masks, it was safe, and all that. They had UV lights and all the conspiracy people you need to be safe. It was great. But they both said something that I wanted to say too bad, which was, you mean to tell me that these cats stormed up in there and like barely any of them got shot?
Yeah.
Like none of them? Like, it was amazing to me. I remember when the sister I lost, who had the bipolar episode and drove up in there and they shot her car to shit.
In the car. Yeah, didn't even make it to the step. In the car.
And like we said before, brothers been marching on Washington, sisters been marching on Washington, and at no point did anybody look at the other one and be like, hey, dog, hey, man, you know what? Let's just make this shit real. Let's just run on up in there and get this shit cracking without somebody saying, hey, wait a minute.
Ho.
Stop. Don't get too hyped. You just can't. You're going back to Kansas. Calm the hell down. They will shoot you before you get to the damn steps. Like, that's what we have always thought. We ain't never, ever been like, yo, you know what? Today's that day.
Right, yeah.
Ain't never. No matter how mad we've ever got, not ever have we ever just ran up. The Black Panthers ran up on the state capital of California with assault rifles, but didn't go in.
Yeah.
He didn't go in.
Yeah. They could have.
I mean, for me, it was a lot. It scared the shit out of me. I ain't even gonna lie. That's the easiest way to put that. I was worried about everybody that I know that still lives in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. But also, again, being a native, when I figured out where they were, I also knew that everybody I know was safe.
Right.
Any of the places, the people that I know going to those places, and I'll say it again, as a person who survived the Freaknik, as a person who survived some of the early picnics that used to go down in D.C. at Rock Creek and other places, they didn't want you to get there. You couldn't get there. They were traffic. Your ass would end up on Embassy Road, way up northwest off Massachusetts.
Right. Exactly.
Back down on Georgetown Road, so you could only leave and go into Virginia, where there were cops waiting right on the side of the bridge. So if they didn't want you in the city, you couldn't get in the city. So, in my opinion, all they need to do is reroute all that traffic, so they ain't got no choice but to come right out by National Field and the DC United Stadium, which only gives you the options in the Anacostia and your ass right past Homeland Security into where the rest of the black people are. And I got a feel on a lot of this shit to stop.
Can I interject here?
Sure.
So the other part that we aren't talking about is the fact that these people have boats and they're coming in by water, and that's why you see the Coast Guards out, and that's why you see, like, I just went for my walk. You see the boats on the Anacostia River with rifles on the front of the boat. So it's not.
They're coming in by boat.
Yeah. Absolutely. They have boats. So that's why you see the Coast Guard and all they're out there. This is huge, and I don't think people really understand. And we've been talking about this for months now. Like, this was number one, inevitable. It's going to happen. It was just a matter of when and what event would prompt it to happen.
Right.
So it's not a matter of what street they're gonna take. They're coming from air. If you've seen a lot more like military,
planes and helicopters, everything
in the air, like it's all over the place. They are literally, like, and if you see stuff like this, like we really don't know what's going on. Like, we talk about this all the time. If we think we know a little bit of it, we don't know anything about it. So we really don't know what's going on. We don't know the intel that the FBI has. We don't know the intel that the police have. We don't know any of that stuff. And so if you see like boats and all this stuff, trust and believe they have massive intel that we know nothing about. And it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than the regular working class American knows. It's so much going on. And so I think that, the best thing to do is just to keep living and just make sure your family is safe and keep living. I mean, it's literally nothing we can do at this point right now, like tomorrow.
It's nothing for us to do either, Patrice. Right. Like Ralph and I was saying earlier, this is not our fight. Ralph was like, stay in the house. That's what we do. Stay in the house, chill.
I'm going to go as far as to say that if you want to protest and be angry about this shit, protest and be angry. I dig it. But don't forget that there's a fucking pandemic going on. There is a disease going around that you could do all the right shit for and still catch. Like, watching what we're seeing in the time that we're seeing is mind blowing. I ain't gonna lie, Patrice, you just blew my mind about these cats coming in via boat. I can't even fathom that. That is.
If you remember they had the Trump rally, and I don't know where it was, but remember they had a boat parade. These people, and if you see, like I was just at the park. They had, the Coast Guard. They had boats. The police have the boats. They're rifled out. So that means that they know they're not in the water because they want to add a few shifts to They're in the water because they have intel. And so we just have to keep ourselves and our family safe and know that, number one, this was inevitable. And like Dave said, this honestly isn't our fight. Our fight is every day in our communities. Our fight is in our households. Our fight is keeping our community strong and making sure that we have a foundation to stand on to make sure that, you know, that we're taking care of our households, and in addition, you know, eventually or whatever, to be our collective and our community. But
Right.
this is, I haven't looked at any of it, to be honest. I haven't looked at any, I don't even look at my timeline. Rare.
Right.
Because it's all it's gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna do. It's gonna be everything is gonna trigger. There are gonna be so many triggers in your timeline. You're gonna see videos, and everybody's gonna say, "Is that person was black?" And then we're gonna get all riled up and get all mad again. And that's not our fight. It's doing nothing but that's attaching that emotional piece that we talked about the last couple of shows to further put you into that mindset. Essentially what it is a mindset of mediocrity. Like, oh, if that was such and such, you know, that would have happened. Well, we already know that. You ain't said nothing new. We've been living that. So, you know, I think this is the time that we need to dig deeper and go inward and really focus on our family structures and building within our community and buying land and farms and, you know, all types of stuff way beyond
guns.
And guns, exactly. And teaching our children how to shoot. Right.
Okay, I can't disagree with you. Yep, that sounds good to me. I agree with everything you just said. The only slight difference, Treese, if I may, for the first time in a long time, I've been watching more news as of late than I've been watching, period. And probably because I'm not back in the area, so it's not hitting with the same impact that it did. But the other difference is the fact that, as I was telling Dave beforehand, I've been having these quarantine epiphanies and all this stuff that's been happening. I'm watching it because it feels like it's been taking pressure off of me that I've been holding for years. Like the whole idea that I was angry or that I was militant or that I was talking this stuff and it was crazy. Nah, I wasn't any of that. I was telling you what I was seeing, but at the same time, it was easier for people to label me as militant or angry and stuff like that. All I really realized about most of this is I was never angry. A lot of us weren't angry. A lot of us aren't angry. A lot of us aren't pissed off. A lot of us saw this coming as an inevitable. And I agree that the move has definitely been family. The move has definitely been understanding the land and stuff that you have as far as resources. I definitely agree that now is a time where you see what's going on and you can make a valid and honest choice on how far you really want to get involved with this stuff. And I would argue that most of us don't really need to get involved with any of this shit. The most civic thing that you can do right now, point blank, as far as I was concerned, happened back in November. And if you were in Georgia, it happened in January. And as long as you voted and did your part to make sure that you took care and possibly, apparently, one of the best and safe elections that's ever going to happen, you've done your part. Everything else is stay at home, raise your kids, and keep your family safe. As far as I'm concerned, there was nothing else to do. Any of these people, like I was telling Dave before, I don't prescribe to not one of these conspiracy theories that's floating around about any of this crap. Because when we were telling y'all real conspiracy theories, nobody believed us. So y'all that they were spying on Martin Luther King, nobody believed us. We told y'all that there were black people who had brought crack into the neighborhood that were government agents. Nobody believed us. But now there's a thing on Netflix I just watched where they're basically saying, yeah,
that's what happened.
That's
I think the other thing too we have to remember is that racism is a social construct, and it's more about the have and the have not, and making sure that there are a pool of poor people or lower middle class, whatever you want to call it, available to, you know, the 1%ers or 5%, 6%, you know, of the wealthy people that they are going to be able to pull from. And so what we're seeing right now is a shift in demographics, classism or whatever you want to call it, where you're going to have somewhere, what was the last number, like 40 million people that are going to be evicted at some point. You're seeing a shift in income and demographics. And I believe that all of this stuff is just it's just distractions. And a lot of the stuff that we think are conspiracy theories are not conspiracy theories. They're actually happening.
Yeah.
There have been multiple books written about them. There are people that have been in, higher positions that have written about things that are going on. You know, I just believe, a lot of this stuff is distractions, and we're not really paying attention because we're focusing on worldly things. And so, this is our fight, but it's our fight from an inward standpoint, meaning like we got to focus on building us, like as individuals. I'm gonna tell you something, and I probably shouldn't say this, but my son said this. My son is smart as a whip, and he's very very much an independent thinker, and this will probably prompt a conversation. When he saw what they were doing at the Capitol, he said, "Ma, do you see what they did? They went directly to the source. We stood on the streets and begged." That's what he said. And I said, "You do realize that we wouldn't have got in the door."
Yeah, we can't get to the source.
No. He said some people would have died, but it would have been, like a revolution. And I said, "Yeah, you're right. It would have been a war. Like, it wouldn't have been escorts and all that." But
I mean, in some respect, the young man is correct. I don't necessarily disagree with him, but as I'm having to deal with mine, I got an 8-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter, and I got to explain this stuff to them. And I've been fortunate, I guess, to live a life where I was fortunate to go to a HBCU. I was fortunate to deal with Black organizations at their best and at their worst. I've got Black media and white media, for lack of a better word, and all of those things don't really matter to 8 and 14-year-old children. Like, the ones that they see things in is normally rather 2D. Like, they see things and they understand it. But fortunately or unfortunately, I haven't lived enough life yet to really understand some of this stuff. And I'm not saying that he doesn't understand it at all. I hope that's not the way I'm coming off, because he clearly does. I think he has a right look on it. But again, it's like I said in the beginning, we've marched and done everything peacefully or correctly, as some would call it, for a very long time, and still got our heads knocked in. And then when cats did try to go extra hard and man up or woman up and try and take a gun, whether it was Asada or whether it was Colin Ferguson doing his crazy shit, ultimately, they still got popped. They still got shot. Which makes this different. And if I were a young person, I would look at this totally different, because what I just saw was a whole bunch of people who had a strong conviction take a move and do some really serious. That was serious what they did. And to every young Black kid out there who saw that it sent a different message to them, and I promise it sent to all 4 of us. And we won't even be able to interpret that fully for years. This is something that is, for lack of a better word, paradigm shifting.
Yeah.
We are doing the best to fight our internal battle, as I really agree with what you're saying, Patrice. This is a weird time for awareness and teaching, and trying to make sure that not only we can understand this, but our children can understand this from a historical standpoint, so that crap like this isn't repeated again. And I think for me, that's the other thing about this. Like my kids, trying to even get my kids to understand what Republicans really are, or who Republicans really are, because they are not what we see right now. And they don't understand the legacy of people like Ralph Bunche. They don't understand the legacy of the sleeping car porters. It's so much for Black people to get to a certain point, and they were all Republicans.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we all need to just shift parties, but I am saying that historically, our kids and our people need to understand what's going on right now, because this is unprecedented.
It's different. Definitely. Yeah, it's not.
This is not your normal thing. And I think even our greatest conspiratorial thinkers, Black or otherwise, nobody saw this shit coming. Not like this.
Yeah. I think that like what you said was true, and I think that the idea of government and democracy and things of that nature only works when there's compromise and when there's balance. And so when that starts to shift, and neither side wants to compromise, neither side wants to talk it out, and they're at the point where these factions of each side have decided that it's war, then all the people in the middle get, we're caught in the middle of this. We like the kids watching the parents fight,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Collateral damage. And again, let's take this away for a second. Let's take it away from the racial aspect of this, because the racial aspect, to be honest, is easy. But look at things like the Lincoln Project, where these were extra pissed off Republican white folks, pissed off at the president. The stuff they've done and that they did was incredibly hard, and it was a tactical move. It was a tactical move. So a lot of what we're seeing right now, for me, on one hand, as a comedian, is crazy because a lot of this stuff is right. I can't write some of the jokes. The dude tased himself in the middle of the doggone Capitol. Yeah. That's hilarious to me. That just shows the ineptitude we're dealing with. And the fact that these cats, my man who made them run all up through the chambers and stuff, he literally teased that dude into chasing him. Yeah. He teased him. He kept pushing. Come on, what you gonna do? Come on, what you gonna do? And they ran around and chased him. Like, some of the stuff that people did in order to save lives or to make things happen was exemplary stuff. But then when you also, another aspect of this, I have a friend of mine who has an Airbnb that was rented out by some of the Trump people. And he literally called me and was like, man, I'm looking on my camera and I can see these dudes rallying up. And then I'm looking on my camera for the backyard and I can see these dudes are all sitting around, talking about going up there and doing whatever. And he was like, Monday morning, I was all ready to turn them in. He was like, but then they sent me their exit note. And he was like, dude, they were the nicest racists ever. They cleaned the house from top to bottom. They stripped all the sheets. They left extra food. They left thank you notes. They left me a $50 tip. He was like, I want to turn them in, but they were kind of good tenants. Like,
That's terrible.
There's a lot of angles on this, again, where I don't think we all are going to see the whole mosaic of it for quite some time.
Yeah.
Also, that the fear of it all is quite crippling, for lack of a better word. It's something where you can either get knee deep into it and lose yourself in all the bullshit that's going on, or you can take it from a better approach and extract yourself from that shit and concentrate on the things that are important to you, your household, your family, your people around you, to make sure that they're straight. Because ultimately, we're still in a quarantine. So, like right now.
I'm ready to say, like, what is the fear? Because I don't feel no fear. Like, but what you said at the end about, making sure our family's okay. I don't feel no fear. Like, I do. Let me tell you this, but I know some of you might disagree with me, but I have a lot of friends who have spouses who are officers and who are military and who are, one of which is my nephew, who will be working the inauguration. Now I do, I'm like, I'm hopeful that they stay safe. So for me, I'm kind of, both sides on that end where I'm praying for those in blue that are, essentially going to be at the middle of civil war in the streets. That's what it's going to turn into.
You talk about that fear. I got a cousin right now who's uniform Secret Service, and when all this shit first started popping off, we were worried about whether or not he was at work, and then we turned to the front page of the Washington Post and we see him sitting up there in riot gear, pushing away the shit that was happening. So that's my fear part comes in, not for myself. But I know people who work cameras. I know people who work mics. I know people who I got a cousin that's also working downtown, and he had to turn down working the inauguration because he was concerned about all this extra security and stuff that's going on. I fear for the folks who have no choice, whether it's because of their livelihood or because of a check or because of this is what they do. I fear for those who in the next couple of days and what's going to happen. And really, I'm hoping and praying that nothing really happens. That's where I'm at. I'm hoping and praying that nothing really happens. Yeah. But for me, it's a super fear because I know those streets back there like the back of my hand. And if something were to happen, I would love to be the one going up there and helping people to get the hell out of there and make sure that they were safe. But I can't do that now. I'm here. So that's my fear. My fear, my parents live in Springfield. If something were to happen, that's the other part of it. Like you blew my mind with that thing about the votes, and I can't stop thinking about that. But the other thing that people are not talking about, and something I've been telling people up here about, you see you see the riots and stuff that happen in DC, but they're not showing you the kids that are out marching out in Fairfax, out in Fauquier County, out in Prince William County, out Montgomery County. Like, it was in the suburbs. It was in the suburbs, and I hadn't seen a lot of things over the years, but like protesting in the suburbs, in the suburbs, shutting down streets in the subs, like shutting down so people can't go to Krispy Kreme and Walmart. I ain't never seen that. This.
Yeah, and what we also must remember is this is no longer a protest.
No, not anymore.
It really was never. It's not a protest. It's a revolt. I think is what it is.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. I on one hand, like I said, I was telling Dave earlier, I don't feel the pressure of anger anymore, and I'm happy about that. To be honest, I feel a lot lighter, but I definitely can say that one of the things that pushed us, for lack of a better word, up to New Jersey was the fact that, going to the Sheets was a problem. Going to Walmart was starting to be a problem. Where, like, they weren't talking to me. I'm 6'4", and when I feel like it, my voice is deep as hell. So, if I'm walking in Walmart, I wish I had my mask. My mask is Conway the Machine, the bottom of my face. It looks hella crazy. It looks real. Yeah. Nobody was saying anything to me back at home. Nobody was going to walk up to me and question any of my political views back at home. Just on sheer size, straight up. But I'd be in the store, and they might say something to my wife. I might say something to some Latin or Asian individual in the store, and I wouldn't let that shit ride.
Right.
And after a while, it got to be too much. I don't want to just go to the cheeseburger and have to protect the rights for everybody around me because one asshole wants to be a Trump dude talking hella crazy. And I'm happy that I don't have that here.
Right.
And where are you? Where are you?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in an undisclosed tent in New Jersey.
I see you. Yeah.
Undisclosed tent.
Not just a tent, an undisclosed tent. That's very
undisclosed tent.
A lot of privacy. But yeah, man, there's so many angles that we could look at this whole situation from. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I appreciate you guys' opinion. And this is a conversation that we're going to wind up having, a lot more just because of what's going on, and just new things happening on a regular basis with what's going on. So, and I mean, I think it's something that we need to try to reach a resolution on as far as where we stand. And I think Patrice made a huge step toward that. You both did, just talking about, what we need to do in terms of focusing on our family, focusing on, ourselves and keeping ourselves in a good place, just because like we've been saying, this is not our fight, but we know that we need to keep ourselves in a good place because at any second it could turn into our fight. And so we need to be in a place where we're ready, where we're focused, where we're paying attention to what's happening without being consumed by it. Patrice, you had like awesome statement on your page a couple of days ago. What was it? Observe but don't absorb, or something like that. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Like, try not to be so caught up in that emotional side of it that they push on us to the point where it skews our vision. Focus and pay attention to what's going on, and you follow, your focus. So that's so important. But I do want to talk to my brother Ralph Cooper a little bit about his the life and times of a VA dude in Jersey. That's that's a book title too. I'm aware. We're gonna get to working on that. But
all right, Dad, I'll give you the forward.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's been a shift, I'll tell you that. I'm a very Southern East Coast kind of guy. Truth be told, I've learned nothing else. I'm very much a dude from the area, more so than I'm anywhere else in the world at this point. Like like I told you, I'm a Virginia DC dude, like to the core. Like I'm in the store, and my kids are looking at Jordans, and I'm looking at 996s. Like, oh, those are nice. Those are. I've been listening to more Go-Go as of late. I've been listening to in quite some time. And I gotta admit, man, Jersey is different. Like, simply because, like I said, at home, the air is back in the DMV. Like, there's no question about it. And if you could avoid to breathe that air, keep doing it. But like, you know, it's difficult. And up here, two different things. And soccer wise, you know, I'm a soccer head. I can't. It's not. There's a game today at 3:00, and that's actually the only thing I'm thinking about once I get done with this. And when I first moved up here, I was in the store. I had on my little Conway mask, but also had on my soccer jersey. I was watching the game on the phone. I was in a ShopRite. I was watching the game on my phone, and my team unexpectedly scored. And I think you've seen it happen before, Dave. But like when I'm watching a game, I don't really care where I am. I tend to zone out, and I'm jumping and yelping in the store like, "Yeah, we scored! Wow! Oh, yeah!"
All right, then, bro.
And then I didn't care about the game, but I gotta talk to you about your mask, and it blew me away. It blew me away. I didn't know what to say. And this dude, Italian dude, wanted to talk to me about my mask. For the next 20 minutes, this dude, I couldn't shake him. I couldn't shake him. I went around the Olive Bar twice. He wouldn't leave me alone. He was nice though. He was a very nice guy. And I've been to the store up here. My mother-in-law got a kick out of it because it blew my mind again. Maybe because I'm Southern, maybe because I'm a big black dude. I think that when I walk out with my mask on, that I might intimidate people at times. And it's not my intention. I just like what I like. I had to go to the store to get some garlic, and I'm standing there with my mask on. I'm trying to get some garlic, and this little old frail white lady walks up to me, and she was like, "Look here, Sonny, you don't know what you're doing. You're looking for garlic? Let me show you how to look for garlic. This is what you need. This is what you need, son. Don't get a garlic bump like this. So you smell it? She's breaking it. She's pulling on my mask, and shit. I'm looking at the little white lady. What the hell is happening? And she goes, "Ooh, you're a big one, aren't you? You seem like a nice guy. Let me look at you. Oh, but you got a ring on. Your wife shouldn't let you left the house like that." This woman ran me. Do you hear me? And like, you know, I'm walking her out and by. I don't even know who she was. And like, and I came home and told my wife, my mother-in-law, they were like, "That's Jersey." I was like, "Okay." I don't know.
Hey, you a nice little sugar mama up in Jersey, man.
No, son, they are a little bit more open up here than I was expecting them to be. And if I were a younger, single, an unhappy man, I probably would be in these streets. But this phase of my life, every time I even partially feel like a young lady or a woman is giving me that look that, like, you know, "Hey, how you doing?" I literally run to the bathroom. Like, I can't explain what has happened to me. I am ashamed of the dude that I once was. Like, I have literally turned back to a 16-year-old young man who's not used to somebody saying, "Hey, you know, you look good, right?" Like, "Oh, no, I'm good." No.
Right. You turned it.
My wife is violent. She's from here. All right. Like, my wife will cut you, and I don't want nobody getting cut on my behalf. I'm a sensitive dude in that respect. So it's easier for me to run in the bathroom and hide in the stall than it is for everybody to get cut.
Right. You saving lives. That's
Yeah. I had to explain that shit. That's the way I look at it. That's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving lives. And you know, it's a lot to do with the fact I'm super blessed that a lot of what Patrice said really hits home, more than she may even know. I've been blessed, man. My family is dope. I don't have any other way to say it. My family is dope, man. We came up here to Jersey. My mother-in-law is a Capricorn, and my grandfather-in-law is a Capricorn. So those of us are real laid-back kind of individuals. I'm fortunate. I've seen a lot of families breaking up during the pandemic, and mine personally has gotten closer. I'm very thankful for that. you know, when Patrice was talking about making sure that we pay attention to what's at home, not only is this quarantine supposed to keep us here, but both of my kids are in school. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, that is important. They're not, my son and my daughter both are virtual. And while my daughter is doing amazingly well, I'm very proud of her. It's been a bit more of a struggle for my son. He's working his butt off. I'll give him that. But, you know, like I tell him, I can only imagine what it's like to be in the third grade and having to sit in front of a computer. This same computer you were playing games on, by the way. Now you're going to be deadly serious on and, you know, try and learn. So it's really difficult right now. And I'm blessed that my family is dope. And it's, you know, I don't mind waking up and seeing them every day. I don't think I've gotten sick of anybody yet, which is in itself a win.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's been good up here in Jersey, man. It's been good times. Christmas is dope. New Year's is dope. There was a different spin on it, mainly because we're adults, but you know, it was cool, man. It's been a good trip. And I also feel like Jersey has done everything they can to make a Southern boy feel at home because, of course, right after I get here, they legalize weed, and I was like, y'all want me to stay? You want me? That's what it is. Jersey wants me to stay. They don't want me to leave. They were like, we got you hooked on the women, we got you hooked on the food. Your kids like it here. Oh, and it's legal to smoke weed, so you can stay around. You can leave if you want to, but you're coming back. That's what Jersey's done to me. Jersey is. I'll say that Jersey turned me. I'll probably end up having a Jersey license and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But like I tell people, I don't care what that license tells you. I'm from the area. I'm from Virginia.
Right.
And, that ain't never gonna change. You know, but man, they twist a damn good arm up here. I tell you that, man. They twist an arm, man. They make it real hard to say no.
Yeah, it's okay to be a transplant, man. It's okay to you know, to say you from Jersey by way of Virginia.
Everything that I needed as a sign to say that, Ralph, it's okay for you to leave, literally happened. My high school, I went to Robert E. Lee High School. Now, my high school is John H. Lewis High School. All I wanted was the name to change. The whole time I was there. Change the name.
They finally changed the name, yeah.
The Redskins fan, my entire life. My grandmama used to say, you can't be a self-respecting black man and be a Redskins fan because of Jack Kent Cook. She hated the name. I hated the name. I'm a Cowboys fan. Been with my whole life because I hated the name of the doggone Redskins. And what happens when I leave? Not only did they change the name, but these guys win the division. Somehow or another, they changed the damn name. Everything, it was time for you to go. That was it. It happened. Now, all the names you have been upset about for years have changed. You have done your duty. Your anger was not
in vain.
You may leave, Ralph. And I'm telling you, that was the capper. Jersey changed the lead. Like, you can stay here now. We got him. You've done your best. We got him now. You can come on home, son.
Right.
Yes.
So, hey, look, we talked a little bit before the show also about, you know, about your profession, which is you're a comedian, and we're talking about comedy as a whole. And I asked you if you had saw Kevin Hart's last stand-up, just because it was so universally panned. Like, a lot of people didn't like it, and we talked about different theories as to why, you know, it didn't maybe stand up to the other ones. So, just real quick, what was your opinion of it? When you saw it?
My opinion quickly was that D.R. Cole is the winner of comedy on the internet during the quarantine. And this
Deion Cole, right?
Why, yes. When you look at Kevin's special, Kevin was trying to give, this is my opinion, Kevin sees this shit, I'm just talking, all right? I met before that before them get all upset with me, all right? Even Eminem took the shit album, it happens, all right? The point is, it dropped the way it dropped because he did not, I personally think, he did not have the chance, an opportunity to go from room to room and work shit out. So that when he did the shit in his house, even though it was very comfortable because he was in his house, very comfortable, it didn't come off the way that I felt like he was trying to make it come off. In comparison to, if you haven't seen it on YouTube, Deion Cole has a special called Deion Cole Working It Out. And what he did was he taped himself trying to work out jokes for a special that was supposed to come out that never came out. So instead of wasting all that footage and those jokes, he basically cut the best of that shit together and put it out. And it's brilliant.
Okay.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Kevin at this point is used to having super polished looking events. His stuff always looks polished. It always looks super top notch. But way back in the day, when I had the opportunity to meet and listen to him talk, he used to stress the fact that it's not so much how you perform when you're in the glitzy, glamorous spots. It's about how you perform when you're in the smaller spots, where there might be one or two people or a bunch of folks that you don't know and you're trying to do your thing. I think if people would have saw him working out the jokes for the special versus the special, it might have been better.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying the same thing. Like all the ingredients was there. It was quality work, but his timing wasn't on. His delivery wasn't there, and it's all indicative of not working your material. So yeah, I definitely agree.
I'll say this, and I'll let you go home. Like it's this simple. I only did, oh God, maybe 30 gigs last year, and that's low. And I mean, that happened in the first half of the year before the quarantine started out. My 30th gig was in Brooklyn. It's the only gig I did in New York, and it was fucking horrible. It was so bad. It was bad because between gig 29 and 30, there was a good 6.5 month stand where the only people I could perform for were in my house.
Right, yeah.
My kids don't. So there's no encouragement there. Like there's no, like I can't make jokes in front of them. They be like, whatever, Dad. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, my kids are throwing lobs back at my ass. Like I gotta stay on my game and shit. Like, but
right.
You know that not having a crowd, that not having a crowd to perform in front of, was way more impactful than I thought it would be. So again, when I watch I literally I don't know a who's been doing it for some time, did not watch his special and not understand what was really going on.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's tough out here right now.
Yeah.
And you know,
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have to get off the call because I'm about to go in somewhere. It's gonna be super noisy, so I have to hang up. But I just wanted to wish you the best in your career, Ralph, because I know the quarantine. I'm an entrepreneur. It's affected everybody, and we kind of got to learn a new way to do things and blend in, and it's not all that easy. So I just wanted to wish you the best and let you know that I was signing off.
Okay. All right, Patrice, thank you so much. Yep.
All right. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
So, yeah. And then there were two. No, but oh, okay. There you go. But yeah, so I did want to talk to you a little bit about what you just touched on, actually, and that's like the rust from not performing. Like that's definitely a thing. Is there a way to address that, or you just got to get back into the swing of things? You know, get back to getting on stage.
The only real way to perform in front of a crowd is perform in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
When I watched, like I said, Joe Claire and Eddie Bryant were here the week of my birthday. I want to say like the 9th they were here. Mm-hmm. There just happened to be a place that's eerily reminiscent of RFD for real. Right around the corner from me. And there's some super positive, it's black owned, which is super dope. And they're trying to be a black comedy venue, which is also dope. But there's adjustments. There's adjustments, and everything right now to me is a technical adjustment. It's technique. The easy one is when you're on stage now, everybody in front of you has a mask on.
Right.
I knew that Joe and Eddie were coming. I intentionally did not ask for stage time because I did not feel I was prepared. Okay. And part of that comes from standing on stage and you're looking out at a room full of people with different masks on.
Right.
And you can't tell if they're smiling, if they're laughing, if they're pissed. You hope that everybody delivers food right before you get on stage, so they got to take their mask off to eat.
Right.
Which is almost like cheating. Like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you got the mask on, yay! At the same time, I ain't gonna lie, my wife and I both, when we came home, we didn't even touch each other. We literally like scrubbed each other, like scrubbed down, like before we even got to bed with each other, because it was like, I don't know what we were just around. Like, so there's this weird paranoia, and I don't think, I don't think that people really understand that the normal that we're used to, that we were all used to, we're never going back to. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that the normal in a lot of situations across the board was probably not a good situation. So it gives us all the opportunity to appreciate things more when we go back out, to appreciate things while we're staying in. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, you know, it's like I tell my kids, it's too easy to get angry. And the only people that you're going to be around are the same people all the damn time. So getting angry ain't going to do you no good.
Right.
Brother, but you wake up in the morning, he's still there. You know, right now, my big push for everything is about trying to appreciate as much as you can. Appreciate the people around you. Appreciate, you know, being able to wake up and just, you know, do your thing, regardless of whether it is every day. Because we ain't learned nothing else over the pandemic. The shit that you love could get taken away from you like that.
Definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the major lessons of this whole thing. So I want to take it back a little bit and ask you if you remember when you were younger, when people would ask you what you wanted to be when you grew up. Do you remember what you would tell people?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah, for the longest, actually, that's what I wanted to be. College, I wanted to be a lawyer, and my dream job would have been being a disc jockey on the radio. I enjoy staying up late, listening to radio and Dr. Demento and all that kind of stuff. I can promise you that at no point in my childhood did I ever imagine that I'd be working for the people I worked for or doing the stuff that I did. That was a bonus. And I hated journalism as a kid too. I hated journalism and journalists as a kid. Hated them. Utter passion. Wouldn't even take a journalism class. Didn't take a journalism class, and ended up being a fucking journalist. So.
That's how it happens. But I always like to ask that question just because it's always interesting and I think helpful to see that sometimes where you start is not always where you end up, and that's not a bad thing. Like you just said about change and how like we'll never go back to what was normal, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's like I think people get so caught up in mourning what was that they don't realize the value in the new that's coming, the value in the change. And so that's something that's important to do, just because life, the only thing that's constant in life is change, you know. So mastering that is a huge part of the life of winning the game of life. So yeah, man, definitely. I love to show like how, you know, people start out one way. It's okay to change and evolve and, you know, fall into what you love and, you know, and do it and monetize it and make a living. So with that being said, like, it's funny asking you these questions because a lot of stuff I've asked you and I know, but I want, you know, people that don't know to know. But comedy, like, how did you find comedy and realize that it was something that you could do on a level where you be at the level that you are now?
I call it okay. Whenever you have a job, whenever you like, when you get out of college, if you go to college, whenever you get out of high school, whatever, you decide to work on your career path. I look at it like you are a train in a tunnel. And with certain careers, that tunnel is really, really, really long. So you never really get to see the end of the tunnel. But then there are certain times in life where somebody throws the emergency brake on your fucking train and that light is right there. And with me in comedy, that's how it happened. I was I was working, and I would say that I definitely, as in the case of most things in my life, was running my mouth and got into some political stuff in a job that I really enjoyed and didn't understand how that worked. And next thing I know, something that was a security blanket was ripped out from under me. And I literally sat down and thought about, okay, I want to do something next that I really can use my degree in. I want to do something that I enjoy doing. I thought about when I was a kid, I used to be a youth pastor, and I thought about going back to the church. But then I was like, I am in no shape to be anybody's pastor. I cuss, drink, and smoke way too much, so that's out the window. Then I was like, maybe I could be a motivational speaker. But then I was like, I ain't really motivating nobody. That's a lot of pressure on my shoulders. I don't want that. So that went out the window. And then I was like, well, maybe I could be a comedian. So I literally started getting books about comedy, and I read Damon Wayans' autobiography because he's one of my favorite comics. I read through prior stuff, and then most importantly, I spoke to my mother and told my mom one morning over breakfast, you know what, I think that I'm gonna try and be a comedian. And without looking up from her food for the first time in my life, she was like, you know what, you might be good at that. Word? Shit. All right, I'll give it a shot.
Mom stamp it, you already know.
Look, man, my mom don't stamp a damn thing. My mom said, yeah, you might be good at that comedy shit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give it a run. Mom said I might be good.
Right, yeah.
It was honestly the impetus that really did it. I had been, as they call it, moonlighting. I was visiting comedy clubs. I was going out to open mics. I was trying to understand what I was looking at. This was back in, oh God, I'm old, 2005. And I felt that I could do it. My background is deep in speech and all that kind of stuff. So getting up in front of people and speaking wasn't a fear. And to be honest, again, I've just been blessed. I've been lucky. I've had some really dope opportunities while I've been doing comedy, and I've had some cool things happen that didn't necessarily equate to a lot of money, but it was some cool ass things. So I'll be all right with that. And you know, it's weird. I'm at a point now where I have to. Patrice hit the nail on the head. You have to figure out a way to shift going forward. When you know that Broadway is closed till 2022, I guess at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can promise you that there won't be a stand-up scene without Broadway. So,
okay.
Yeah, figure it out. You got to figure something out. And I'm not as pressed as a lot of these other. There's some people I think that are super pressed right now. And like we've been saying the whole time, and I don't feel bad about it one way at all. My bigger priority are people at my house. So the urge that I might have had when I was younger in comedy I just got to get on stage. Like I'm itching to get on stage. I'm itching. I gotta go. I very much have subdued. I'm not. I want to get out. I want to go, but I'm very aware that where the fuck am I gonna go?
Right.
There's nowhere to go. A comedy club will be open one week, and you'll see them putting up stuff on Instagram about how great night they had. We did all our outdoor shows, and then 2 weeks later, the damn spot is closed.
Right. Yeah.
We're trying at the least, and even back in DC, sadly, all of the venues that aren't the DC Improv have closed.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be to the point that when you can get out and do comedy, the whole thing is going to start over.
Right. It's gonna have to. Yeah. Definitely.
You know, right now, I think the best you can do is just ride whatever wave you can. And when things get back to a point, and hopefully they do get back to a point that you can do what you can do, you know, you jump back in. But at this point, you know, I talk with my wife a lot about, you know, it's almost being forced to find another career at this point. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to give light to the idea of quitting being a comedian, because that's not really in my plans. But on the same tip, I know that I have to do stuff to provide, like, you know, in pandemic checks ain't going but so far.
Right.
I can't buy rims. Uh,
They call him the stemmy. You got to get your stemmy.
you know what I'm saying? Get my Jordans on.
Right. Oh man.
Which is good. You know what's funny to me, man? How nobody's really talked about that. I like people's shoe game and stuff have gone because they can't sell these shoes at these exorbitant prices no more because it's just not.
Yeah, ain't nobody buying them. Yeah. Like you said, that's a lot of things that are changing that aren't going back to the way they were. A lot of and on every level. And like you said, the retail is one of them. Like they had to change. Like stores have to change not only their prices but their approach, their marketing tactics, things like that, to keep people coming in because a lot of places aren't making it out. Man, it's been tough. So
It's tough to watch.
yeah.
I can think of things that have happened in my life that are similar to this, but not on the same circumstance
Right.
level.
Mm.
But there's a it's again the normal for all of us is let's get this money.
Right.
That's been normal. That's been the normal for years for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy to me now how people aren't necessarily understanding that our quest for capitalism right now can kill you.
Yeah.
This ain't crack. This ain't meth. This is somewhere cats is catching this shit and dying. Some cats catch it and living.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm happy about that. But this is a situation where for change, cats really do kind of need to back up and seriously be about people and each other for a while. Like hopefully the money will come back in the way that it needs to come back, and in a better and sustainable way.
Right.
But all of us doing what we're doing now, cats working themselves to death and all that kind of stuff, man. All that kind of led up to where we are now.
Right.
So I don't know. I like to think again, not only as a comedian, but just a hopeful ass person, that once this shit comes to pass, that hopefully we will be able to get back to a better form of doing stand-up comedy. We'll be able to get to a better form of doing retail and how cats spend their money and what we place value on. That's what I'm hoping. Now I know a lot of that may not happen, but
yeah, you got to be hopeful though, man. You have to.
I got to be hopeful. I'm always one that's going to believe that you have to believe in the good nature of people.
Right.
If you give up on the good nature of people, I feel like you give up on your own good nature.
That's true. That's true.
So I'm that kind of a person. I may not appear to be all the time. I can say that. But generally, man, I can't stress it enough. There is an immense release of pressure in knowing that I have not been angry for the past 45 years. Like like there's other brothers that I've been talking to about it. All of that listening to Public Enemy, all of that listening to Paris, all of that listening to you know what I'm saying, X-Clan, all of that all of that reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, all of that reading George Jackson, all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that early Tupac listening. We weren't angry.
Right. Getting ready.
There was a voice, man. There was something that was trying to talk to us, and we saw something, and it was easier for people to dismiss us as being angry or militant, when in actuality, it was never that.
Right. Yeah.
Huge pressure.
Yeah.
Can't stress it enough. The huge pressure I just don't feel.
To have that pressure off of you is a blessing too, man. Definitely.
Yeah. And brothers are having that same epiphany all over the place, man. I don't. That's the other thing, and I guess I hit that and I kind of let it go, and I hope because I know you deal with this, but like, man, if there's been nothing else, wellness, man, check on your fucking people, B.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, especially brothers, man, because we got such a way of just being hard about everything, and we don't want to. I got homeboys of mine I know most of my life, man. These cats, I know when something's wrong because you don't hear from them.
Right, yeah.
And so, like, for real, man, do as much as you can to check on your brothers. Tell your brothers I love you. You know what I'm saying? Let them know, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, they ain't the only ones going through the shit with their kids, their wife, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't traditionally, I'll say it that way. We traditionally don't do a good job at that.
Right.
You know, I call my dad from time to time just to make sure that he got a space to say what he want to say because he needs that shit.
Right. Everybody needs it.
Need that shit. The one thing that I'm trying to get my son to understand, and I hope other people do too, is one thing that you lose as a black man the older you get is compassion. People really don't give a fuck about your position.
yeah, and it hardens you. Yeah, definitely, you lose that compassion. 100%.
If there's nothing that you could give as a gift to a black man or you know somebody who might be struggling through something in their life, man, it's compassion, dude.
Yeah.
So many people are trying to rip folks down, and it's so easy for people to put up that bravado of I'm just so hard, I'm so tough. Even if they don't say it, you know what I'm saying? Like just keep it aside. Man, that's a lot of energy, man.
That's it, definitely. And yeah, that's so right, man. You gotta be there. Like everybody, that negativity is so powerful, and it's so not powerful but abundant. That being a beacon of light to people, like I mean, that's one of my goals. You know, as I've gotten older, I try to be more like the person. Like I try to support everybody. Like even if it's just saying I believe, because you know, you people hear so much, you know, oh, that's not gonna work, man. You crazy? You think you can do that? You know, I just try to be that person to be like, man, you gonna do it? You know, just give that support and acknowledgement, and like you said, just check on people, let them know that it's somebody out there that cares, that believes in what they're doing. You know, because a lot of times it's people that don't believe in you. You know, so yeah, that's extremely important. I'm glad you said that.
I can't stress it enough. I think that we as it's a weird time racially what's going on. It's a weird time gender-wise what's going on. I am all for. I said it earlier, and I love saying it. I'm all for all the female, black female movies that are coming out, where it's sisters that are, you know, assassins, or sisters that are the lead in a movie, and they're smart movies, and you know, the just the overall portrayal of stuff. I think is an interesting time. Like, and again, there's definitely a move afoot, not necessarily to show that there's definitely something happening where you're seeing a lot more of a sensitive side of hard brothers. And some of it is cool, some of it I don't really know how to take.
It's weird, yeah.
And for so long, you know, that idea of being a big, sensitive man either came off as people thinking that you were gay, or that people were like, oh, he weird, I don't deal with him. And that, you know, you seeing it a lot more to know that it's not only acceptable, but like there's more people out there like that.
It's
like,
more the norm, right? Definitely.
I used to tell people all the time, man, it's funny. If you're from DC, you know this. We walk around with easily the hardest scowls on our face. We normally wear all gray or black, big baggy ass sweatsuits, hoods on, do-rags on, and then when you see us standing outside, we don't look like the type of dudes normally that you would walk up to and say like, "Hey, how are you?" Like we, but that to me is the greatest mistake anyone could ever make coming to Washington D.C. Straight up and down, you will miss out on probably one of the coolest motherfuckers you will ever meet in your life by just walking up to somebody huge and saying, "Hey, man, I'm lost. Can you help me, man?" And like, really speaking, man, I'm always gonna say some of the nicest, most respectful, cool ass brothers I've ever met in my life come from the area, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And the dudes that are willing to look out for you, the dudes that are willing to, you know what I'm saying, see some bullshit going down and step in without even knowing the dude that the shit is happening to. That's home to me.
That's
from DC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we might be in a go-go, and I might see Carter Terrence and like what used to be the homes get into a fight. But I tell you this, let some bullshit happen in the streets. I watch that same group of dudes come together and protect other people in the neighborhood to make it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, That's what it's about. Yeah, and what you were saying about like the meme mug, and it's so funny, like that layer that society has this feeling like we got to put on. I remember my nephew when he graduated from like the first grade or something. I was at his graduation in his elementary school, and I was like, I never seen so many gangster parents and kids just walking. I'm like, it's elementary school. It's a graduation. It's okay. You can smile. You can smile. I remember like a dude like walked past me and he didn't even really bump me, like brush me a little bit, and he was like, "My bad, cool." I was like, I mean, he's saying my bad, but it was just so like his whole demeanor was like, "Yeah, I'm in these streets." I'm like, "Nah, we in the elementary school, dog. You can relax."
I always laugh about when I used to teach at Baloo, man, and
Oh man, yeah.
I used to tell the kids all the time, y'all living off reputation.
That's
Like,
it.
yeah, Baloo has gone. It's come and gone. Like those dudes who were here, I went to school with them Bammers. They were deadly serious, but they were super smart,
Yeah.
super smart, and they were no joke in the classroom, and they were no joke on the street. So it was fine. But like I always, the quickest way to tell this, there was a young man playing on Baloo's football team. He was starting running back. He thought he was the shit little dude, man, like maybe 5'5", but he was like, I'll run through anything you put in my path, blah, 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 blah. All right. Man, they went out and played some white boy school out in Virginia. And he was talking cash money before they went. Man, they said during the game, they had the box score. He had like, I don't know, 14, 15 fumbles. And so when I asked the coach what happened, he said, Coop, first time he came through the hole, he was all hype. He ran through the hole. The white boy smacked his ass up. Said he got up to run the next play. They called another run play. We handed him the ball, and he literally stood there and dropped the ball. He did this 15 times. He just dropped the ball.
He didn't want that work, man. Them corn-fed white boys be about it, man.
John Deere hit him. I told him I can talk on the black South if I want to, man. You know what taught me racial equality? Football.
Football, yeah.
Equality. You could be the biggest brother you want to be, man. There's some big white boys out there, and they can hit. They can hit. You can lie to yourself. They respect J.J. Watt for a reason. He can.
Right.
That boy lays some hat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Charlie, all it takes is one white boy to lay some hat for you to be like, maybe we are equal. Maybe.
I've been looking at this wrong the whole time.
The whole time. You know what? Because I ain't going through this shit every week.
Right.
I ain't doing this shit. So
look, man, every time we get to talking, man, time be moving. It's already 12:30. I had a few more questions for you, but I want you to come back because I do have to run. Usually I would just go over, but I got some runs to make, man. But I appreciate you every time, man. Like I said, anytime I call you.
It's that simple, bro. What you see me doing is what I'm doing. Until this. Man, I love any time, man. You want me to come on next week after next? Just say the word. I'm down.
I appreciate you, brother.
And I missed the hell out you, brother. I can't even lie.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here, man. I'm waiting for you to get a room, man. So when you get like a room up there, now let me explain. I mean like a comedy room, man. This ain't no weird stuff going on. When you get a venue to do comedy, I would like to, because I've been working my stuff out, but I mean I haven't had a chance to since all this. But yeah, man, I'll come through definitely.
Man, I'll say this. There's clearly going to be a space moving forward for people to do what we know how to. Like, again, we ain't gonna go back to normal, but there's some things that I personally think that people are just going to miss.
Right.
It'll be an opportunity for it to be done the right way. I shout out to anybody, point blank, who's an entrepreneur right now. Shout out to anybody who is in the performing arts of any capacity. Shout out to people who are visual artists, to the people who are used to, working behind a very active scene. This is difficult.
Yeah.
Everybody I know. We ain't even talking about the political aspect, just the idea of being at home and not being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And I also would say to all those people, stay vigilant and stay patient. there's no rush. And I guess that's the other thing with me, this comedy shit. There's no rush.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be funny for the rest of my fucking life. There's not much I can do.
Yeah. Exactly.
I am in no rush to be famous by the end of 2022 or 2023 or 2024. I'm in no rush. I think that it could just be me. I think the best approach to this is calculated. And I think the best approach to this is to take advantage when the opportunities open themselves up. And if you happen to fail when you get the opportunity, take it as a learning lesson so that the next time your ass gets one, you do right.
Yeah.
Before all this crap popped off, if you perform bad at a venue, it was just a bad shot, and you would have a chance later in that week or later on, to make up for that. Now you blow a spot, it's very possible you have blown that spot.
Yeah, you got to live with that for a while at least.
You know what I mean? And I've not only seen it happen for myself, but I've seen it happen for other people that are way more established than I am. So again, like what we all were used to as normal might not have been the best thing.
Right. Yeah.
And right now, moving forward, like I think the scene as it was before is not going to exist, and I think you're going to find a lot more people willing to accept participation medals and people running for winners medals.
Right. I see how you had to craft that the right way to say what I feel, Yeah, it makes perfect sense though, and that's true.
I think you're gonna see a lot more, even in the even at the show that I went to for Joe and Eddie.
Right.
The opening act was the owner's wife, because it was her birthday and she just wanted to do stand-up. She had never done it before. And I would definitely say back in the old days, if an owner of a restaurant would have pulled some shit like that, every comic in the room would have been hella pissed off and mad as fuck. You gonna put your wife up, dog? You gonna put your wife up, dog? But I'm happy to say that my first thought when I saw her getting up was good luck.
There you go.
My first thought, it was good luck. This is a scary time to start doing comedy. Like, start now? Shoot.
Yeah.
Good luck, sister.
On top of all the original stuff that was already, scary and weird about it, and then these times make it so much different.
I think moving forward, that's if I do get a room or if I do get an opportunity to do something. First, that's the angle that I'm already looking at. I want to encourage people to get on stage. I want to encourage people to get up there and speak. I want to encourage people to tell their stories. Tell what's going on. Like, it's killing me. It's killing me. Whether it's been Blackish, the Blackest Fuck, the show, whether it was when all this shit first started, whether it was the fact there was more white people out in the street protesting for Black Lives Matter than people I've ever seen in my entire. All the
layers,
yeah. There's jokes in this shit, but the reality is there's nobody to get up and say this shit in front of.
Right.
Unless you're already established. I could put out a comedy special tomorrow, and it would be no different than a mixtape. It would be no different than a dude doing a mixtape putting this shit up on Dat Piff.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to my man doing his album and let him know I want to hear it.
Definitely.
That's the one thing, and I'd love to come back and talk to you about that more. That's the one thing quietly that honestly flourished in 2020 was music.
Oh man, yeah, we definitely got to talk about that. Yeah, we might just do like a call. I'm gonna hit you. We'll work out something. Where we might just do a live call, and just chat about some stuff.
Yeah, good. I want to talk about music in 2020, so that's why I did what I did. But
yeah,
musically, it was just an amazing year of music.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff, a lot of quality stuff.
Yeah.
And I got some stuff to talk about too. So like I said, we'll work that out. I think we'll do a live and just chop it up about some more stuff. But yeah, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Like I said, it's always a good time when you come through. Shout out to my co-host Patrice and Aisha, who were kind of there. That's a dope shirt too. Fat Doctor, rest in power, brother. Long live Fat Doctor. Shout out to Joelle for coming through, my NBA correspondent. We're gonna be seeing more of her doing her thing. And man, shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you. Like I said, I can't say it enough. The patriarch of one of the coolest black families in America. And a very hilarious brother, my man Ralph Cooper. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for checking us out, man. This has been another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. Take care of yourselves and each other, and stay safe. And look, man, stay in the house. Don't go out because it's crazy out there.
Or your back porch like I did, and go there.
Make a tent, yeah.
All day.
Or we can all just go over to Ralph's tent and hang out in the tent for a while.
There's just enough room here for me and my wife. Maybe
okay.
That's it. We'll build y'all a tent next to our tent.
Okay, cool. All right, brother. Peace.
Peace, man.